So his email goes along this. Hi TB, Hargrim, level 80, Undead Priest on Balnazar EU writing in. I have an issue with an attitude problem among players that seems to be growing of late, and that is players who call others who read WoW-related news on the internet elitists. Let me stop you there. The best counter to that is, you're an idiot. If you think that reading WoW-related news on the internet makes you an elitist, you are an idiot. You are everything that's wrong with the world. Anti-intellectualism, deliberate pride in ignorance is a disgrace to the human race. It will be the death of us. I kid you not. This behavior should be stamped on as hard as humanly possible. You see that player there? That player that believes that? That is a bug crawling across your table. What do you do to a bug that's going across your table? You do this! You smash them. You smash that bug. That's what you do. You show no mercy. You show no remorse. You show no regrets for coming down as hard as you can, like a ton of bricks from the sky above, on a player like that. It's not just players. It's not just about them ruining your game experience. It is about the sheer ignorance of elements of the human race. It's going that far. I'm not making this up. You can see it everywhere. I'm not going to name specific countries, but I can tell you for a fact, there's people like this in every country. These anti-intellectuals. These guys who take pride in their own ignorance. Now, let me talk about my country. My country has a group of people in it. You know, we like to refer to them as chavs. Council-housed and violent. They live on the dole, they don't have a job, or if they do, it's a terrible dead-end job. Soul-crushing. They do nothing with their lives. They do not raise their children well. Their children become criminals, juveniles. They do nothing to enhance the community. They simply take. They live for the sake of existing. They do not care about anything beyond celebrity magazines and football. These people need to be stamped out. And if you see behavior like that in World of Warcraft, or anywhere in real life, you should make an effort to stamp it out. I'll read a bit of his email. That's probably a good idea. Usually I don't get surprised when people fail to notice patch notes and other important WoW-related stuff, because WoW is filled with, well, somewhat less intelligent people. But when my guildmates get surprised when I mention the return of Onyxia or the coming of Cataclysm, I tend to ask them if they've been living under a rock for the past few months. When I do, they usually get upset, and I often hear replies like, not everyone is an elitist who patrols the internet for World of Warcraft-related news. Yes, and your response to that is, not everyone's lazy. Not everyone's pathetic. Not everyone revels in their own stupidity and mediocrity. Not everyone does that, and thank God. Thank the Lord above, or whatever God or non-God you believe in. Whether you be atheist, Hindu, Jew, Christian, Muslim. Maybe you believe in the flying spaghetti monster and his noodly appendages. I don't care. But thank whatever deity or non-deity that you believe in, that not everyone is like that. Because if they were, we'd all be dead. Every last one of us. The world would have been wiped out by now. They just killed each other. Probably still been living in caves. Thank God for the exceptional people. Thank God for those who have ambition. Thank God for those who push the envelope. In everything, in every walk of life. It matters in every walk of life. Even something that just doesn't affect the real world at all, like a game. World of Warcraft. Thank God for those who push the envelope. Because if they didn't, then the games would never advance. The genre wouldn't go anywhere. Development wouldn't go anywhere. If we weren't interested in the latest technology, if we weren't playing to the highest possible echelons and levels, we would not get the challenging content. We wouldn't get the great games. We wouldn't get the innovation because we, as exceptional gamers, demand that innovation. We demand the production values. We demand good products. Not the mediocre players who are just happy with what they get. Not the mediocre players who say, oh, but you're so elitist. Like, oh, you use a fight stick on Street Fighter 4? You're an elitist. Or, you bought a deliberately great pad for Street Fighter 4? You're an elitist. I just want to use the Street Fighter 4 pad. Why do you keep beating me so? Oh, you're such an elitist. Shut up. Be better. Do something with your life. Even if it's just in the area of a hobby. Do something to make yourself better. Do something to improve yourself. In any walk of life. Anyway, the email continues. The same thing applies to finding information about the game on the internet. When someone from my guild asks about the best talent spec for raids, or where certain things drop, I usually just answer with a link to Wowhead. There are also a great bunch of people who think of that as rude when doing this and say things like, I'm not that hardcore. What is hardcore about visiting a website? What is hardcore about learning your own class? What is hardcore about doing your own research? Lord. It's like, I've met people like this before. I've met people who have, when sitting in front of a word processor with ready access to a dictionary, thesaurus, and the internet, have asked me how to spell a word. Are you serious? It's right there! Not only should you already know this to begin with, but you've got all of these resources at your very fingertips. Stop being so dependent! Stop being parasites! And I do mean it, parasites on humanity. So dependent on other people, incapable of making decisions for themselves. Led by the media, led by celebrity magazines, led by what their friends tell them to do, pushed around by peer pressure, part of some kind of herd. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to get into the whole idiocracy sheeple rubbish because that's incredibly pretentious. I'm not going to state that everyone in the world is stupid. No, the majority of people in the world are not stupid. I am willing to believe in the goodness of humanity in general, but there are a chunk of people who need to either be re-educated or destroyed in one way or the other. And by destroyed, I'm talking about intellectually destroyed, humiliated to the point where they are forced to change their ways. Through whatever means necessary. And that applies to all walks of life, including inside a video game, where these people degrade your play experience. They make it less fun for you. You should care about this. As where's this, what's this, why can't I get into a good guild, blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Stop talking. Do something with your life. Educate yourself. And don't tolerate it. Those smart people around here. Those people who have the right attitude, not the wrong attitude. They don't expect everything to be delivered to them on a silver platter. You want to be called elitist over that? If people want to call you elitist, embrace that. Embrace that elitism. Elitism. Interesting word. Derivative of elite. The definition of elite, folks. Exceptional. Top tier. I don't know where all these negative connotations came from. Honestly, I can't imagine. A group or class is a definition of people who enjoy a superior intellectual, social, or economic status. The best or most skilled members of a group. When the hell has that been a bad thing? Explain that to me. The intellectual connotations of that are mind-boggling. And indeed, the intellectual consequences of this anti-intellectualism, oh, they wreak havoc. They wreak havoc. Don't let it. Don't let this happen. For God's sake, stomp these people into the ground if you see them. Turn them into fine paste. They'll learn. It's the only way they will learn, but they'll learn. Never, ever, ever give in to these people. Never do it. Because as soon as you do, that's it. Game over for what you love. That's for sure.